Hello Raider Nation, and welcome to this week's edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnson, and along with me, as always, is head coach Keith Goss. Coach, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Doing all right. So that's our famous intro. If
Yeah,
you haven't figured that out, by the way.
Every time.
Go back and look at all the shows, and it's the same question and the exact same answer.
Consistency is important.
That's very important, very important. So we are glad that you're with us today, watching this on-demand episode of the Coaches Show. I want to start out, as I have each of the first 4 or 5 weeks, by thanking a couple of the platinum sponsors for this year's Booster Club. And the first is Jay's IGA. And folks, most people don't know exactly how much Jay's does more than just from a monetary standpoint. A lot of donations of water and other
they've they're a community store. They've always done things to help the athletic program, and I know last week they had a part of the pregame meal, not sponsored but making something for it,
right.
A cake for the guys, and they're always a part of it and around it, and we really appreciate their contributions.
Yeah. Well, I have a little personal interest in investment in that. Not that I have an investment in the store, but as family. Stephen Williams is now general manager of the store. Although I think the store changed hands, it was sold to another company a few years ago by my cousin Jay Williams. Again, it was started by his dad, Big J, Jay Sr. Mr. J, he is retired. I want to wish him well for all the things. Again, he was Citizen of the Year one year, and all the things that he did for our community. He himself through his company, Jay's IGA. And now Stephen, he stepped up. His brother, again now the manager of the store, and he does just a great job. Good guy, good people. So I encourage you to shop local, and that's one of our grocery stores. And they would appreciate it as well. Again, a huge thank you for the monetary donations, as well as food and water and other things that they have provided for our football program and other programs here at Bacon County High School. And the other business, we want to talk a minute about Signs by Joey. And I'll just admit it, I don't know Joey's last name, but I don't think anybody knows him by any other name than Joey.
I think he goes by Joey, and that's Signs by Joey.
Signs by Joey. And I believe Joey has done a tremendous job with helping to put together with that planning committee for the Jumbotron that's now at the football field. He coordinated a lot of that. I know we purchased most of it through him, but from what I understand, he made a really, really nice contribution back to the Booster Club to help support the football program. Even though, again, we purchased the sign and materials and software and those types of things through him to have that ability.
Yeah, he's got the signage on the bottom of the board, and he's got a big panel down there, and that was part of his contribution to the program and what was going on.
So again, I want to thank both of those once again for being a part of the football booster program, and again, a lot of that money raised. All of the money that's raised and put in the football program, believe it or not, when they raise a ton of money, and you hear some whispering and this, that in the community, well, they spend a lot of money on football. Well, what that does allow, and I'll spend just 10 seconds on this, is that it allows to free up monies in our athletic department for other programs, the smaller programs, that second and third tier type programs that don't have a gate, such as tennis or golf or other what we would call a minor sport. Any amount of money that can be raised by the football program or any other booster, as far as that goes, for baseball or basketball or softball, it just frees up a little more money in our athletic department to help provide for these other sports.
It would be tough without us fundraising what we fundraised to have as many sports as we have.
Yeah.
And be able to compete in as many sports across the school of our size. So it all contributes to the greater good.
Well, Coach, let's do what we came to do here. Let's talk a little football. Last week we played host to Jeff Davis, the Yellow Jackets. It opened our region schedule, and we have 4 more games, and we'll talk more about those in a few minutes, but hosted them at home. It's always a big game with Jeff Davis. Being a border county, we have been big rivals with them for as long as I can remember, and way past from when I was born. And it's not just football; it's any sport. So they came over with a pretty good football team, and we've witnessed them get better and better since their coach has been there. Their development of things, and again, tell us a little bit about how that played out.
Well, they brought over a team that's, I think, ranked 6th in the state. So far, they haven't lost. They have a pretty good senior class. I think they have 5 guys that have offers at this point, or being looked at seriously. So they're clicking right now.
Yeah.
In the game we didn't do some things that would have helped our cause. We had some turnovers on kickoff returns and things of that nature that kind of put us in a hole early, and we're going to keep working to fix those things.
Well, anytime you're playing anybody and you turn the ball over 2 or 3, maybe 4 times, especially early in the game, those kickoff returns, and again, you got some young kids out there, and we keep saying young for a reason, they are, but and it was effort. It was trying to give that extra step, extra twist or turn,
and
the ball comes out. It's hard to you want the kid to protect the ball, but it's kind of hard to really fuss at a kid that's trying his best to make something happen. But it is what it is.
It is. It's one of those things that, obviously you have to protect the football. We've worked on ball security again, and again, and again. But it's one of those things that, a lot of it was effort plays, and our kids were trying to make extra efforts and lost the ball. We just got to continue to work to get better.
I was real impressed. We knew they were pretty good coming in. Like you said, they were ranked as 5-0 and that sort of thing. But their offensive, defensive line, especially the offensive line, they're big, some big kids. And I think they got 1 or 2 kids on the lines that's like you said, going to play ball somewhere. I
know one of them's going to Georgia Southern. I know the receiver, number 7, he is, I think, at Kennesaw. I know the Kennesaw State have been offered by them at the very least. So they got some kids that are going to play some FBS and FCS football.
Well, moving forward, we got another week of football.
We do.
This week. And this week we'll be playing host one more time. Been home a while, which is a good thing, to the Toombs County Bulldogs. This is another solid program. They've made a lot of steps in the last few years. They put some turf in at their new stadium. They've created some excitement. We were over there last year. Boy, what an exciting game that was. And double overtime just didn't go our way. In one of those games where it's the woulda, coulda, shoulda effect. But they graduated a few of their key players, and their record isn't quite what they would have expected either this season as they come into the big house over here. So tell us a little bit about the Bulldogs and what's the name of their coach over there again?
Richie Marsh.
Richie Marsh, that's right.
Coach Marsh has done a great job. I've known him for the majority of my career. He's a good man of God. He works his programs hard. He's a great human being besides being a pretty dang good football coach too. I always look forward to competing against them. Offensively, they'll spread it out some. They'll throw it around a little bit. It depends on the game and what they feel like they need to do. But some games they've done some 2-back option stuff. Some games they've been 4 wide and chunked it around. So it's really whatever they feel like the need is.
Now this quarterback this year, was he the one that started last year and then they brought the smaller kid in and he gave us trouble? So is that kid there this year the one that started the game last year for us? Is that?
No, yes, that kid is. The one that came in.
He graduated.
He graduated.
Right.
Lynn, I think his name was. And, he's a pretty good one.
He was pretty good. He was his sportsmanship was could be questionable, but he did what he had to do on the
Right.
field. And then the running back was pretty impressive too. He's another good kid. They
also
graduated
last year. Defensively, they're 3-4 base, but they'll bring a guy up onto the line and try to slant their front and move people around to cause problems. If they feel like they're outsized, their guys will bear crawl off the ball, trying to wad things up and let their linebackers run and make plays. I saw that on 1 or 2 films where they were willing to do that and to just try to eat up the front and let the linebackers go run free. So it's, I've seen a couple different looks from them, but defensively, their base is out of a 3-4.
Well, how are we preparing for them this week, Coach? I think if the fans were watching the game last week or rewatched it on demand from our network broadcast, I think we ran the ball a little bit more than we have in the past, a good bit more. And on that note, I want to point out. I felt like overall our running backs did a pretty good job. I was real pleased with Slade. It seemed like he had one of his best games as far as he was hitting the hole hard. I mean, he was running hard. And I just wanted to point that out.
He was running hard early on. I think he got a little necked up.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you play them both ways sometimes.
Right. So he, he's coming on. He's learning where to fit and how to hit the hole and the design of the play and where we need him to hit. And as you're, everybody knows his name and obviously who the young man is.
Right.
But he's still a sophomore.
That's right.
And I know we'd love to see senior type plays out of sophomores, and we will when he's a junior or senior.
That's right.
He's played. He's played a lot, and he's going to make some plays. He's going to continue to make plays. He's a great young man.
Yes. Great in the classroom. Yeah, he's just academic. Yeah.
But
I will say that he's got one of the best handwritings you'll ever see by a male student in high school. I just want to point that out.
But I'm not discouraged by the way, the season's started with him running, because he's really learning the position and getting better and better at it.
Certainly, I think he came on the last few games of the season last year when we put him in that running back position.
And we haven't had him, the whole season.
Yes.
We've had him banged up a little bit.
Yeah. And you kind of see him as sort of the Thunder, and then number 2 as Richardson as the Lightning.
Right.
Because boy, he's fun to watch, Coach.
He's a freshman.
Yeah.
And he's going to make some big plays. Like I said, there's still a learning curve there.
Sure.
But should be a real exciting one to watch as the years go on.
Yeah. Now, are we going to continue? I kind of cut you off a little bit earlier about when I asked you offensively. We're going to still continue to try and run the ball.
We're going to do what we feel gives our guys the best chance, and right now that's running football. Football at the end of the day is about numbers, grass, and angles, and how to create those things and give your kids the best opportunities. I'll always feel that way. So it's kind of being a needy, not greedy mindset. What our kids do best, we need first downs. First downs become touchdowns if you get enough of them in a row. So that's what we're looking for, the best way to do that fits our personnel scheme.
Well, the other night, last week's game, we mentioned some of those turnovers. Our defense was on the field for the majority of the first quarter.
It was.
And on the defense side of the ball, Coach, how many guys we got playing both ways? At least,
there's several.
some. No, I mean, I know a lot of us not going every play both ways, but
no, there's not a lot starting both ways, but a lot playing both ways in one form or fashion.
Yeah.
There's several. I don't even know the number at this point.
Well,
pretty much everybody backs up on the other side.
What I'm getting at is, it seems like on the defensive side of the ball, that's the side you don't rest on. You don't get any rest on defense. You can get maybe rest in a few positions on the offensive side on occasion, but you cannot rest on defense. And that's what I was getting at, is that these kids are now, because of our numbers, it's obvious they have dropped a little bit here in the last few weeks, month or so. And that's another mental thing that our kids are having to deal with as well. And
It is.
on the coaching standpoint as well, I'm sure.
It is, and it's just one more thing we have to prepare for. So we are.
Well, Coach, we're at home tomorrow night with the Toombs County Bulldogs, and then we're on the road next weekend. We're going to Swainsboro,
Right.
and then we're back home
For East Lawrence.
for East Lawrence. That'll be senior night.
That will be
I'm
senior
assuming.
night, and then we have Vidalia at Vidalia.
And then the last week of the regular season, we're off.
We're off.
We're off. So we'll kind of sit back and see where we're at and how things go. But we definitely want to encourage you to come out tomorrow night to be a part of the second region matchup against this Bulldog team that we feel like definitely can compete with, and want you there cheering them on. I was pretty pleased with the crowd we had last week versus Jeff Davis. I was glad they brought a good crowd. It's a good gate. That always helps.
Yep.
So I would anticipate folks coming out tomorrow night. While I'm thinking about it, as we're winding things down here, tomorrow night, our broadcast on the NFHS network, powered by Play on Sports and brought to you by BCTV Red Raider Broadcasting. It will be live tomorrow night, but it will be presented on our AI cameras. And I'm not sure if I've explained to this crowd, to the coaches show yet, exactly what that is. Last year I was able to obtain through grants and simply because of the amount of broadcasting that we do as a program and as a school, we were offered these AI cameras. They're called Pixelots, that literally film the game automatically. And that's football, soccer, anything that happens on the field. We can, sports-wise or anything else, we can video.
There's another one in the gym too.
There is one. That's correct. I was able to obtain one in the gym. We're talking about $10,000 to $12,000 worth of equipment and installation was free, and I'm very proud of that point because it's going to allow, again, when I can't physically and I have not have students there physically, we can still get these games out to you that are accustomed to watching online. Now, the downside of that, this Friday specifically, there will be no audio. Well, you'll hear some crowd noise, but there won't be any commentation. But you can still tune in to 104.3 on the radio, and you can maybe play the radio simultaneously. But the score will be updated on the score bug, so you can kind of keep up with that. But the only disadvantage this Friday night is there will be, again, no audio or voice overlay of the radio guys. It'll just be just the game itself due to some scheduling conflicts. But we will be using that AI technology Friday night. But we record the game with the AI, and that video footage is sent to the coach and his coaching staff. And we've been able to do that for middle school. So that it's a really, really cool, some cool technology that's unmanned camera basically, that's smart enough to video it, cover the field, to provide some for coaching purposes. And again, he mentioned I have one in the gym as well that'll serve its purpose for girls and boys basketball and anything else that might be the gym might be utilized for as well. So, but again, as always, I always encourage you to show up live to these events, supporting these young men on the football field, as well as our band, as well as our cheerleaders. And I think that's always important. But again, obviously, if you can't make it, we do have a couple resources for you to do that, and one being that NFHS network. Well, Coach, I appreciate you once again being on the show, giving us some guidance and insight to previous and upcoming games. And again, Raider Nation, we look forward to tomorrow night as we look to our potentially first region victory. As we said yesterday, the season re-began last week,
Yep.
and we just look forward to what's next. So again, on behalf of myself, Coach Goss, Raider Nation, until next time, we'll see you.